Super. What better thing could be born than a happy couple? Now, how many of you have come here with your husbands and wives? Put your hands up. With your own husband and wife, huh? Make sure. Okay. So go. What I'm going to do right now at the beginning is just check and see how well you know each other. Okay. Are you ready for a quiz? Simple quiz. My English is very simple. When I speak Marathi, they ask me to translate into English because no one understands my Marathi. Yeah. So I'll speak in English only, and then you can translate as you find. If you find I'm speaking too fast, tell me to slow down. Okay. So are you ready for a quiz? Quiz on each other. Okay. First question you must get right. What? Don't give me the answer. Give your husband and wife the answer. Okay. First question. First, let me get putting my watch here so I can see the timing. Okay. What is the name of your husband and wife? Tell your neighbor. Tell your wife. That you must get right. Okay. So we must start on a good note now. Second question. What is the second name of your husband and wife? Oh. You got it right? I'm going to check at the end. Huh? No cheating. Huh? You know, there was this man, he's always called his wife, sweetheart, my loving girl, how is this? Honey, what is this? And you heard this joke before? And a man said, you're so sweet the whole time. You keep calling your wife, sweetheart, honey, my lover girl, my baby. I said, what to tell you? I forgot her name only. So I hope you know this. Okay, you got those two? Keep the score. Husband, wives, keep the score. Which school did your husband and wife go to? Which school? Which school? Okay? Next, fourth question. What is the age of your husband and wife? Age, exact age, huh? Let's say around 40. Okay, next question, fifth question. What is your husband and wife's favorite color? See if it's right or wrong, huh? Don't say technicolor. Okay. Next question. What is your husband and wife's favorite sweet dish? Sweet dish. Don't shout gulab jam from here. I love it. I'll come to your house otherwise. Don't fight, huh? What, you don't know what I like? Okay. Next question. What is your favorite dish? That is sweet dish, now food, khana. Come on, share. And last question, I hope I didn't ask you this already. Okay, 7 already? 7 questions? 6, okay, 7 questions. What is your favorite color? Your wife's or husband's favorite color? I asked you that? Okay. What is the size of your husband and wife's shoes? Gaya. Okay, done? Okay, let's see. How many of you got 7 out of 7? Put your hand. Wow, the gulab jam girl. Anyone else got 7 out of 7? Very good. Super. Get up. Stand up. Stand up. I won't ask any more questions. As husband and wife have got it right? My God. Super, yeah. Today, 2 gulab jam for both of you all extra. Okay, how many of you got out of 7? 5 right. Put your hands up. Not bad. I think I'm going home. They're too good, yeah. But I thought you know nothing. Huh? Excellent. Normally, the wives remember everything, the husbands remember nothing. Darling, which class? How many children do we have? What's the name of our second child? So you all are very good, okay? So let's carry on with the talk right now. When we speak of marriage, first of all, this talk, at least the topic, I believe is grace-filled. Because when Raymond asked me, where's Raymond? He's somewhere over here. Okay, when Raymond asked me to give a topic, what did I say? Keeping the fire going. And he said, Father, fantastic! Because the theme of the session is refueling. So keeping the fire going, it really goes together. So I do hope the Lord really speaks through me. Okay, finally we are only channels of the Lord's grace. And I hope something touches you and you go back and you stop fighting a little less. Little fighting is good, huh? At least the neighbors know that you all are still staying next door. One day I was going to visit a family, a Catholic family in my parish, and I went to the watchman and I said, excuse me, kidhar rahe the? And then I heard someone shouting on top. I said, no, mereko malum hai. Literally, yeah. So some fighting is good, keeps the energy going, the heart pulping, beating well. So let's get it. The heart is beating well, yeah? Okay. The Bible starts with husband and wife. Right or wrong? Adam and Eve. So Old Testament starts with Adam and Eve. New Testament starts with Mary and Joseph. I'm just showing you how important couples are. The Bible could have started in any other way, but it started with Adam and Eve. New Testament starts with Mary and Joseph. And what does the Bible end with? Anyone knows? Anything to do with marriage? The marriage of the Lamb. Okay? That is Christ, the Lamb with His church, the marriage. Okay? And I think the most beautiful thing that we have in the Bible is Jesus compares His love for the church as the bride and the groom. The best way He could think of showing what true love is, the love between husband and wife. I think that is the high point of speaking of the importance of marriage. That husband and wife, Jesus loved the church as a husband and wife love each other. Just keeping this in mind is very, very important. But now you might say it was very easy for Adam and Eve. You might say it was very easy for Mary and Joseph. Today's world is stressed out. They didn't have to travel in a Vasai local. Right or wrong? Yeah? But believe me, you can't think of the difficulties they had. Adam and Eve, they just married, they have a child, 2 children first. One son kills the other son. How many of us, we have murder in the family? They're thrown out of the Garden of Eden, refugees. So life wasn't easy. If you think it was paradise for a little while. Okay? Mother Mary and Joseph, ideal family. Before they even come together in marriage, Mary is found with child. Joseph couldn't understand. He wanted to put her away. Can you imagine even before they come together, tragedy strikes. And Joseph says, I must put her away, but he was a just man, put her away quietly. Can you imagine Mother Mary, 15 years old, pure in her heart, what she must have felt? She could have been stoned to death. Okay, then they too understand. Did the neighbors understand? They didn't know. So you can imagine what people must have been saying. Can you imagine that? Only Joseph, Mary and maybe Anna knew it. The other didn't know. So the stress, she's with child, she has to go the long journey all the way to Jerusalem. If that is not bad enough, go as refugees to Egypt. Egypt? From Nazareth going to Egypt? I don't know anybody. What work am I going to do? If this is what the Lord wants, this is what I want. I think the most beautiful thing in that couple is always the will of God. Always the will of God. We'll come back to that a little later. So stress. The early families had stress. So don't think, while today we have a different kind of stress, please don't think that they were out of stress. In fact, quite likely they had more stress than what we have today. How many of you have seen the series, The Chosen? There's a series on, it's free right now. Okay. When anything is free, you must watch. I've watched all 32. The 5th season is coming out now in June, but they're charging. I'm an Indian. When it becomes free, I will watch. Okay. So 5th season is coming in September, free. Beautiful. It's a meditation on the life of Christ and the life of the Holy Family, the whole thing. But you can see in this, we don't know. The Bible doesn't give us the details. But we know that they were poor. They offered a turtle dove. Only poor people. And Mother Mary is sharing with Mary Magdalene. Very often in the night, Joseph and me decided who would eat that night. Quite likely they were very poor. So they had their own stresses. So I want to make it clear to you, every family has stress. If a family doesn't have stress, something going wrong. Something going wrong. Believe me. Believe me. I'm a Jesuit Society of Jesus. Before me, another, the SJ, no? Before me, another SJ spoke. Who was that? Sabby and Jessica. Where are they? There. Okay? And they shared their own stress and difficulty in married life. But one thing I would like to tell you, thank you for your sharing. Huh? I think Jessica's best sharing was she was smiling. Yeah? In other words, whatever Sabby says is correct. But one thing I want to tell you, when Sabby said, you know, as you come close to the Lord, less problems. The truth is, when you come close to the Lord, more problems. Do you agree with me?
Yeah.
It's the fact. It's a fact. When you know, the world outside, you know, they'll find a way to get rid of problems. And therefore we have quick fix. And as soon as you're looking for quick fix, believe me, it is not Christian. It is not Christian. There's something going wrong. Because, you know, there's something called the Passover meal. You heard of the Passover meal? What Jesus came and gave us from the Eucharist has come from the Passover meal. And in the Passover meal, there are two things. I'm sharing this, going a little off the topic, but good for you. There are two things to remind us that suffering and joy go together. At two times, once they dipped the sweet green leafy vegetable spring into salt water, a reminder of tears, of sweat. And then the father of the house is supposed to tell the children, is teaching the children, my dear son, my dear daughters, suffering and just like the sweet spring vegetable with salt water go together, so is our life. Suffering and joy go together. Another time he takes a bitter herb and dips it into sweet sauce and again reminds them, my dear son and daughter, suffering and joy go together. If you only want joy, you can't survive. Suffering and joy come together. And believe me, my dear friends, the moment you realize this, even your marriages and everything else will go well, because it must go together. Why am I saying this? Because if we look into our Christian lives, and you say, but you know, some people say, but we are such a loving family, or we are doing everything good, we have never made a mistake. Why is the Lord doing this to me? And for me, my best example is, take a look at Jesus on the cross. What wrong did he do to have to die on the cross? If he had to die on the cross after living the most perfect life, not even with one sin, it's a clear sign for us that there has to be, not I'm saying there will be, there may be, there could be, there will be 100% difficulties. I would not call them difficulties. Mother Teresa says gifts from God. I like the word challenges. Because when there are challenges, again going to the Passover meal, at the Passover meal, they take an egg, everybody gets an egg to eat. And the father of the house who leads this, the whole Passover meal, tells the children, my dear child, they're eating this egg today, a reminder to you. If you take an egg and drop it, it'll break. But when that egg is put into water, and the heat is added, and as it gets hotter and hotter, the egg gets stronger and firmer. That's our life. So believe me, the closer you come to the Lord, if you look into the Bible, Sirach, chapter 2, verse 1, Sirach, Ben Sirach, Sirach is telling his son, you know, son, I want to tell you something. As you come close to the Lord, be ready for testing and temptation. Okay? So this is the background. So stress, difficulties, 100%. Today's world doesn't want it, and therefore marriages are okay. Were there stresses not there before? Maybe 30 years back? Was there? Maybe even more. But today, our level of accepting stress is going down. We want everything quick fix. What Pope Francis said, throwaway culture. Not working, throw it out. Okay? No quick fix in marriages. Actually, no quick for anything in life. Okay? So the first thing to remember, Marriage is very sacred in the Bible because the Old Testament starts with it, New Testament starts with it, Bible ends with marriage. Stress was always there, and stress will always be there. If you think you'll have a perfect marriage, never. If you're thinking marriage without stress, never. Okay? That's one thing we must get very, very clear. So, the first thing to keep in mind is this. Marriage is sacred. There will always be so-called challenges in marriage. Okay? Second thing, what Pope Francis tells us, some years back he wrote an apostolic letter, and he says, no couple falls from heaven perfect. No couple falls from heaven perfect. If you think your husband will be Mr. Perfect, get married to him. Okay? Or if you think your wife is perfect. Today I was just now traveling by this local train, and at the side of me, first something very funny happened. I won't tell you here, I can tell you afterwards. But I saw one couple standing at the side of me when I was getting down, and this man was kissing this girl on the forehead, here, so sweetly. And I said, I'm sure they're not married. The whole time he's kissing. It's 100% not married. And if the more kisses are meant, 100% they are far from marriage. Then when you get married, as you ask, now what happens? Okay? As I say, love is blind, marriage opens your eyes to the truth. But the truth is, you have married that person. And that's what makes the difference. So don't expect a perfect marriage, not my words. Pope Francis' words. The moment you think perfect, you're sleeping. You're sleeping. The moment you realize we are two imperfect persons, now you are ready for marriage. If you think we are so perfect that we don't need each other, no. So that's one thing we must get clear. The second thing is, supposing, let's give you an example. You see this nice boy, okay? And perfect boy, very holy, goes to church every day, prays the Lord, heads out in church. What will you tell him? What will you tell him? Fast. Remember 2 gulab jams there, 2 gulab jams there. Who else? I hope you're not giving gulab jams, huh? Very holy boy. What? Go to become a priest, correct? Yes. Arey Baba. What do you mean go to become a priest? You're right, that's how it's normally seen. No. Why can't a very holy boy, very prayerful, get married? Because we think holiness and marriage are two separate. And this is some years back. No, I'm not so holy, I can't join the priesthood. Or you're so holy, then join the priesthood. No. Marriage is a vocation. And we must realize it is the vocation that some people, God calls to the priesthood. Some people, God calls to religious life. Today we know very clearly some people, God calls to live as singles. Right or wrong? For various reasons. Sometimes they remain single because they're looking after their parents or certain situation, they're getting their other siblings married, whatever. But many are called by vocation to be married people. Right or wrong? So praise the Lord, because the Lord has called you. But you might say, I got married, you know why? It just happened to me once. One boy came to get married, rather getting on in years. I asked him, why are you getting married? The girl was the side of him. He said, there's no one to look after my mommy. Really? And the girl was the side, no one to look after my mommy. I said, get a maid, no. You don't need to get a wife. But that was the understanding. But we must realize we are getting married because the Lord wants us to come together. And there is a mission for us to be married. Now supposing you say, when I got married to this girl, or I got married to this boy, I didn't know, I made a big blunder. Now you got married in church. What do you say now? Now you made a mistake. What do you say? Anybody wants to say? You've got married now. You made a mistake, terrible mistake. What do you say?
I have to accept.
What?
I have to accept.
Accept. One of the great saints of the church, Teresa of Avila, she said, one of the greatest saints of the church, incidentally, her body when exhumed, they found it is incorrupt. Okay, they just found it. And they're going to have it exposed for exposition. She said, when I joined a convent, I joined for all the wrong reasons. I didn't have a vocation. One of the greatest, I didn't have a vocation. So in your case also, you might have got married for the wrong reason. You might have got married to a person, whoever. I think that's beautiful. Why? Because you have not decided. God has brought you together, that means. So there's something very special in your marriage. You have not decided it. You did not even decide to get married. You did not even decide to marry this girl and boy, and yet you're together. Now isn't that a miracle? Clap, give a clap to yourself. So at no time can you say, no, Arey, big mistake, yeah. Today is the 24th anniversary of my biggest mistake. No, not your mistake. God has been working. And He brought you together for a purpose. And as you go on in life, you must discover your purpose. Believe me, now I joined in 1985. 1 year after joining, I was here in Manipur Church. Okay? And I'm still beginning to understand my vocation. I know it in my head. Now 1985, how many years? Quite old, no? You can see it counted by my hair. I lost my hair here, only studying Marathi. Okay. But lovely, I enjoyed myself over here. I was staying in that D8 college. If you want to hear ghost stories, come to me, I'll tell you. Every night was a new ghost story. The boys were scared of everything. Okay. So, if you are together and you are not sure, the Lord has brought you together. So you need to see marriage as a vocation. And it's not an easy vocation. You know, some people say, Father, you have become a priest, so wonderful. God has called you. What a difficult life. And believe me, it is different. I won't say difficult or easier. It is difficult. I mean, it is different. But I really don't think it is as difficult as yours. If I have a problem, I know in 6 years I'll get a transfer. If you have a problem, in 6 years you get a transfer, but you take your husband and wife with you. And that's the problem. Okay? But not only that, your life, you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. You don't know your future. I know after whatever years, I'll be in the infirmary well taken care of. Today we don't even know, believe me, we don't even know whether our children will take care of us, right or wrong. It's different in the old days, joint family, especially in Vasai, when I was speaking to Bishop Felix. He said 42 members in the family, joint family. He said, wow. You know, someone was there to take care. Today it's a different world. So yours is a vocation. I'll give you one story. I'm adapting it slightly. There was this lady to show you how strong your vocation is. Okay? And you must believe it is a vocation and accept it as a vocation. There's this lady coming, I've taken a story from Pope Francis, adapted slightly. The lady coming back from work, she has a terrible day at work. That little lady carrying her bags, you know. Coming home, she's just waiting to go home and go to sleep. As she's coming home, she first goes to the market. She's buy bhaji. And as she buys the bhaji, comes home, tiring day, boss fired her for no reason, not her mistake. She comes and she sees the watchman, she smiles at the watchman, Namaste. And then she asks the watchman, how's your son? She knows that the watchman's son is sick in the gaon. Okay? She comes home, she's just waiting to eat, have dinner and go to sleep. She has to cook dinner first of all. And then she hardly opens the door, she looks at her daughter and says, sweetheart, what has happened? And her daughter starts crying. And so she sits with her daughter for 1-2 hours, listening to her daughter. And the daughter says, Mommy, thank you so much. Then she goes and cooks her meal. And then she goes to sleep. But before going to sleep, she sits down in front of Mother Mary and the Holy Family and she prays a little prayer. Her daughter's already gone to sleep. Thank you for a wonderful day. Thank you for a wonderful day. Now this is the vocation to marriage. This is the vocation. Difficult day at work, goes to the market, buys a food. She knows the watchman. See, this is, you don't think that you have to be a priest or a nun to live a good life. In fact, you are holiness in the marketplace. You are holiness in the marketplace. And I know one couple, and if I get time, I'll share about that, how they are living holiness where they are. I'll come back to that. She comes home, she's tired, she wants to cook and go to sleep. Daughter wants to speak to her. Daughter didn't ask her. But mothers have a special way of seeing. They see through the eyes into the heart. Okay? And knows the daughter needs someone to listen to her. There. Cooks, finds time to pray, and goes to sleep. Now, isn't this a powerful, beautiful example of what it means to be a married person? Right or wrong? Okay. Now, bringing the fire into marriage, and I was just thinking, so this is kind of background to what I want to say. How do you bring the fire into the marriage? Actually, you don't have to bring it. The fire is already there. It's rekindling it, as what Timothy said, no? Rekindle the flame of your faith. Rekindle. You have to translate it to Marathi, no? Sorry, I forgot. See, I've spoken too much.
फादर म्हणाले सुरुवातीला की प्रत्येक विवाहामध्ये तणाव आहे, संघर्ष आहे, स्ट्रेस आहे आणि आपल्याला परमेश्वराने एकत्र आणलेला आहे. आणि फादर म्हणाले की विवाहाची सुरुवात आपण उत्पत्तीमध्ये आदमान हव्वेला तिकडे पाहतो. नवीन करारामध्ये सुरुवात होते ती योसेफ आणि मरिया, आणि शेवट बायबलचा जो आहे तो सुद्धा आपण पाहतो विवाह आहे, जिथे प्रभू येशू ख्रिस्त आणि ख्रिस्त सभा ह्यांचं जणू काय विवाह तिथे सांगितलेला आहे, एकत्र येणे. तर अशा प्रकारे विवाह किती महत्वाचा आहे. आणि आतापर्यंत जे फादरने सांगितलं की विवाह संघर्षाशिवाय नाही, म्हणजे प्रत्येक विवाहामध्ये संघर्ष आहे आणि एक पाचारण आहे. जरी आपल्याला वाईट वाटत असेल की माझा पती, माझी पत्नी ही माझी चूक आहे, किंवा मी निवडलं नाही, किंवा मी असंच लग्न केलं, प्रभू सांगतो परमेश्वराच्या योजनेने तुमचं लग्न झालेलं आहे. प्रत्येक विवाहामध्ये तणाव असणारच आणि त्यामुळे आपण परिपक्व होतो. जसं त्यांनी उदाहरण दिलं अंड्याचं. अंड जर पडलं खाली तर ते फुटतं, परंतु ते जेव्हा पाण्यामध्ये हळूवारपणे त्याला आपण उकळवतो तेव्हा ते घट्ट होतं, मजबूत होतं. त्याप्रमाणे आपण आपल्या जीवनामध्ये असलेले संघर्ष, त्रास जे काही आपल्या जीवनामध्ये येतं त्यामुळे आपण भक्कम मजबूत होत असतो. आणि प्रभूची इच्छा आहे आपल्याला एकत्र आणण्यामध्ये आणि त्याचे उद्दिष्ट तो पूर्ण करत आहे. फादर हे म्हणाले की एक लग्न हे पाचारण आहे. जसं फादर म्हणण्यासाठी एक पाचारण असतं, ओकेशन आहे, तसंच लग्न साक्रामेंट सुद्धा एक पाचारण आहे. ते असंच नाही, परंतु परमेश्वराने निवडून एकत्र दोघा व्यक्तींना आणलेलं आहे. तर
better than what I said. Give him a clap. Actually, how you remembered everything, no? So good. So yours is a vocation. Vocation means you are brought together by the Lord. Yours is not a job. Yours is not just to fulfill a duty. You're brought together by the Lord. And I said, now what does it mean to rekindle that flame of yours? Simply how to get joy in your marriage. I said, first of all, you don't have to get the fire in. The fire is already there. But you have to add wood, to keep the faith flame burning. The fire is there within us, okay? So how do we keep it? I'm just going to take it very simply, J-O-Y. You know what J-O-Y stands for? J for Jesus first. O for? Okay, I'll come to it, okay? So first of all, your marriage is a sacrament. What is a sacrament? What is a sacrament? In simple terms, what is a sacrament? Anybody? The simplest way, and I like this way, we say external sign of internal grace. External sign, whatever the priest does for you, and internal experience grace. But the simplest definition of a sacrament is an encounter with Jesus. A sacrament is an encounter with Jesus. That means through the sacrament, you experience Jesus. Now your marriage is a sacrament. So what happens through the sacrament? An encounter with Jesus. So the first and most important person in your marriage is who? Jesus. Yours is a sacrament. You could have got married in court. You could have got married anywhere else. But you came in the church right in front of the Blessed Sacrament and you two exchange your vows. The priest is only a witness. So you, through your marriage, now are grace-filled. The cement that binds you together is Jesus. So in your marriage, Jesus is the most important person. You know, I like to explain this as the vocation. I said, you know, you heard of that thing, no? But that's 3 men were building a wall. And they went to the first man and said, what are you doing? And he said, I'm putting bricks one on top of the other. Right or wrong? Right. The second one is, what are you doing? He said, it's building work. Little better than the first. And the third man, they said, what are you doing? He's saying, I am building the cathedral. The cathedral. All 3 are doing the same thing. But see how you look at it. How you look at it. Your attitude, your perception changes everything. When you see your marriage as what it actually is, it changes it. Just imagine that boy who I remember I told you the first time. He came to me, why are you getting married? No one to look after my mother, I need somebody. Can you imagine his perception? What would he expect of his wife? A maid. Can you imagine his whole life? And when his mother dies, what happens? Maybe he'll say to look after me. Terrible. Terrible, but hopefully he grew in his understanding of the vocation of marriage. So the third person said, I'm building a cathedral. And you must remember what the church says. One of the important dimensions of marriage is growing. The spouses help each other to grow in holiness. Because of your marriage, as what Sabby said, no? Because of his wife Jessica, he grew, their love grew, and their closeness to the Lord grew. I think that is so beautiful. So the first thing is growing in your relationship with Jesus. If you take Jesus out of your marriage, it is those men building this cathedral with bricks without cement. Without cement, you're putting one brick on top of the other. What is going to happen? Collapse. Collapse. And so the first thing I'm telling you is to keep Jesus in the center, we must have prayer life. And I'm saying 2 kinds of prayer lives. I say there are 3 kinds. There are many kinds of prayer lives. One is family prayer. But you need some time when you're praying just as a couple. Maybe a shorter time. Today I know the world is stressed up. Your timing, especially beside traveling, I don't know where all you are traveling. But you have to decide. But you know, it should be something like, I can't get it, but I know I need it. Like you can say, you know, I've been working so much. I can't eat food. I can't eat food. Difficult. But Father, last 2 weeks I have not eaten food. Why? No time, Father. Do you ever say that? No time. You eat, no, finally. So, find time for prayer. Find time to pray even as a couple. Important. Now, if you can't pray every day, fine, maybe every second day. Can't pray every second, every third day. I tell people, if you can't pray the rosary, scripture reading is very important. If you can't do that, pray 1 decade of rosary. If you can't pray 1 decade of rosary, pray the Angelus. If you can't pray the Angelus, some time at least you have. You must have some time. Okay? But if you don't have prayer, believe me, your marriage will collapse. It will carry on the outside, but inside something is missing. But I want to tell you something. Just prayer is not enough. And I'm beginning to realize this. Because sometimes the way we say our prayers also is not, just praying can be outside. I don't know about you all, but sometimes when I pray in Bombay, I know all the prayers. As the prayer, Hail Mary, Holy Mary, Arey, take the kachra out! Holy Mary, Mother of God, put that pressure cooker off. What is going on? Happening or not happening? Prayer is an encounter with Jesus. Prayer is an encounter with Jesus. My mom used to tell me when they used to pray at home, there were many sisters and brothers. But after the prayer, the sister telling you, I'm going to wear this dress for Mass and this dress. When did you decide all this? During prayer. So what prayer is happening? So prayer is not enough. Your life has to be a lived prayer. Because you're praying, now your life must be a lived prayer. Otherwise what will happen? You will survive and your family. Next generation will collapse. And I'm beginning to notice this right now. We have praying families. Next generation, children have stopped praying. Because they're not seeing the effect of prayer in their daily lives of mommy and daddy. So you can do one thing, you can pray, but you're not actually living it out. So prayer, okay? Prayer is important. But also with prayer, so one is prayer, second is places. Okay? See that your home has, your house that the Catechism of the Catholic Church says is a domestic church. And in the church you have holy water, you have your altar. See that your house somehow is shown to be a sacred place. In each room, have a crucifix, have some holy objects. Believe me, you will think it's just an object. What difference it makes? It's important. Have a holy water font, little holy water font. Now I'm not telling you, find your own way. A crucifix, maybe a statue, have your patron saints. Okay? That's the second thing. But also have this special devotion in your family. I know some families have it. Like some families I know, every year the whole family, I know this, will go to Willinkini. I know one family in my parish, every year the family goes to the Igatpuri Dominic Center, same, the Dominican Center. As a family, just imagine the beauty in what's happening. When they go for their Mass, I know one family, my mom used to tell me this, I love to see that family. There were about 6 children. All children with mommy and daddy would sit for Mass together. What a beautiful example. Celebrate your special days together, birthdays, feast days, go together. Let people know that Christ is the center of his home. You have that lovely saying, and we had it in our house, Christ is the head of his house. The unseen guest at every meal. The silent listener to every conversation. Just imagine if you believe this. Okay? You want to translate?
फादर म्हणाले की आपल्या विवाहाला प्रज्वलित करणे महत्त्वाचं आहे आणि ते प्रज्वलित करण्यासाठी 3 गोष्टी JOY. तर जे म्हणजे जीसस, येशू. आपले लग्न साक्रामेंट एक साक्रामेंट आहे आणि साक्रामेंट म्हणजे येशू बरोबर भेट. आणि साक्रामेंटाद्वारे आपण कृपा पूर्ण होत असतो, आपल्याला कृपा मिळत असते. आपला दृष्टिकोन विवाहाकडे पाहण्याचा कसा आहे, पर्स्पेक्टिव्ह फार महत्त्वाचा आहे. आपण कशा प्रकारे आपल्या विवाहाकडे पाहतो. आणि म्हणून पती पत्नीमुळे आपण येशू बरोबरच्या संबंधामध्ये वाढतो. येशू आपल्या जीवनामध्ये पहिली गोष्ट जी आहे येशू. आणि येशूमध्ये काय होतं तर पती पत्नी एकमेकांच्या संबंधामध्ये वाढत असतात. आणि म्हणून येशूला केंद्रस्थानी ठेवणे फार गरजेचं आहे. जीसस टू बी सेंटर. आणि म्हणून काय करायचं आहे तर वेळ शोधा आपल्या जीवनामध्ये प्रार्थनेसाठी, येशूसाठी वेळ आपल्याला काढावा लागेल. फादरने सुद्धा उदाहरण दिलं. आपण कधीच म्हणत नाही की माझ्याकडे वेळच नाही आणि म्हणून मी 2-3 दिवसापासून जेवलो नाही. तसं आपण वेळ काढतो जेवण्यासाठी. थोडा का होईना वेळ काढा प्रभूशी बोलण्यासाठी. आणि फक्त प्रार्थना नाही म्हणजे बाह्य प्रार्थना नाही, तर फादर म्हणतात की प्रार्थना म्हणजे जी प्रार्थना आपण जगतो, ऍक्शन इन प्रेयर. आणि म्हणून दुसरं एक गोष्ट आपण करू शकतो, आपल्या घरामध्ये पवित्र जागा ना, म्हणजे जे आपण ऑल्टर आहे किंवा क्रूस आहे, फोटो आहे, प्रत्येक रूममध्ये असणे, ज्यामुळे वातावरण आणि प्रभूची आठवण आणि प्रभूचे शब्द आपल्याला आठवण येतील. दुसरं म्हणजे एकत्र कुटुंब म्हणून आपण मिस्साला जाणे, रिट्रीटला जाणे, आध्यात्मिक गोष्टींसाठी जाणे, एकत्र सहकुटुंब, मुलं आणि पती पत्नी एकत्र बसणे हे सुद्धा महत्त्वाचं आहे.
You know, I was just thinking of one of our parishioners in the parish which I was in some time back, and this man, he said his grandson came to meet him. The children were abroad, okay, and the grandson came to meet him. I mean, the whole family came down, and a small boy, he's telling us, the grandfather, you know, grandpa, who is that man? No? Every house I go to, I see that man. Who is that man? And the grandfather felt embarrassed. You know who that man was? Jesus. Just imagine, he's saying, my own son, I'm saying praying, you know, very nice family. My own son had not told his children who Jesus is. Can you believe it? It seems shocking. But this is what I'm saying about. So J is Jesus. You take Jesus away from your marriage, you will be surviving on the outside. Second, O. O stands for others. A couple, Pope Francis says, that love each other and only love each other is selfish. A couple that only love each other and only love each other is selfish. You, I said, yours is a vocation. And a vocation means not for yourself. While you are, charity begins at home, your love must spread out. I'm reminded of a family in my parish right now. Yes, stop for the Angelus. Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. The angel of the Lord declared to Mary, Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with you. Blessed are you among women, blessed the fruit of your womb, Jesus. Behold the handmaid of the Lord. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with you. Blessed are you among women, blessed the fruit of your womb, Jesus. And the Word was made flesh. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with you. Blessed are you among women, and blessed the fruit of your womb, Jesus. Pray for us, O Holy Mother of God,
that we may be worthy of the promises of Christ.
Let us pray. O for the beseech you, Lord, your grace into our hearts, that we through the incarnation of Christ, your Son, was made known by the message of an angel, may by his passion and cross be brought to the glorious resurrection, to the same Christ our Lord, and the divine assistance of the be with us, and souls of faithful departed, the mercy of God rest in peace. Good afternoon, everybody. Please be seated. So O is others. You must make others part of your family. This family was telling you regularly as a family. See, I'm saying you go as individuals. They have adopted a home for the aged. And as a family, they follow this little apostolate. Now you might say, what's special? They're teaching the children that we are not meant for ourselves. You see, can you imagine how the children will grow up? Beautiful. That we are meant for others. You know, if you go to Jerusalem, Israel, you have the Dead Sea. Okay, in one corner, you have the Jordan River, Galilee here. Galilee is filled with beautiful fresh water, lot of fish. Then it goes down to Jordan, and when it goes down into the Jordan, it goes into the Dead Sea. How many fish over there? 0. You know why? Because Galilee gets water and gives out the water. Dead Sea, it's so low, it gets water, doesn't give out the water. Nothing survives there. It evaporates, salt, not one fish over there. And that can be our lives. If we are only centered ourselves, Dead Sea is only getting, not giving, Dead Sea. Galilee, giving out the water, alive. Which is your family? Which is your family? Believe me, there has to be an outreach in your family. Make your life and your family life an act of love. So that is O. And finally, Y is yourself. Yourself. Ultimately, you have to make yourself the priority. The greatest gift you can give as husband and wife to each other is, you know who? Yourself. Yourself. The best that you can be. The best that you can be. You have to give yourself to the other. In fact, the Bible tells us, St. Paul tells us, even your body doesn't belong to you. The body of the husband belongs to the wife. The body of the wife belongs to the husband. Okay? So, the Lord has brought you together in a very special way because you gift each other yourself. Just last week I was watching, listening, reading one thing in the paper and one of the online things. A couple who were married for 84 years, the longest living couple married for 84 years in Brazil right now. And they were asked, what is the secret of your marriage? Now you think of some high-tech technical thing. The Bible said, love. Love. Finished. One word. Love. And my dear friends, what more can we say? What more can we say? The Bible puts it so clearly, Genesis, right at the beginning. A husband and a wife, they cleave to each other. The word for cleaving to each other is the strongest word of union in the Bible, in Hebrew. That they become one flesh. What more can you have? The love is so strong, nothing can break the love that you have for each other. Tremendous amount of love. That's what you call. In the Bible, there are 4 words, in Greek at least, 4 words for love. One word is philia. Philia is love between friends. The second word is eros. Eros is a sexual love, not lust. Sexual love is good, but not enough. Okay, even in marriage there is sexual love, very good, but not lust. Lust is when you only want the bodies. Okay, so you have philia, eros. Third, you have storge. Storge is a love between family members. But the Bible picked up the 4th word, which is very rare in other literature. And you know that word. Anyone knows? Agape. What does agape mean? Unconditional love. The day of marriage, why did you marry Susie? Oh, she's so beautiful. And what happened when she had dentures? What happened to the love? So finally, love has to be unconditional. At the moment you put a condition, you can be sure that's not Christian love. And believe me, my dear friends, some marriages can be difficult. Some marriages can be difficult. Okay? Like a couple, 84 years married, they had difficulties, but she said, love kept us going. I'll just show you a video, short video of 3 minutes. My neighbor next door in Juhu celebrated his 60th anniversary and his daughter made this video. Okay? Just put it louder. See what they have to say about what is the secret of their marriage.
Do we still fight with each other, you say?
One second.
Yes.
Just put it off 1 second. 1 second. He's fully in the right mind. She's beginning to lose, you can see, little dementia she's got. So she's not totally knowing what is happening. But yet it's something very beautiful and I'll tell you something about that. Start again.
Do we still fight with each other, you say? Yes, very much.
60 years married. Shared advice on love.
60 years is a long time. But we were, I would say, college sweethearts. She from Sapphire and I from St. Xavier's. I wish I had a romantic story to tell you, but no, it wasn't. No, we just grew into liking each other from the time we met and until the time we were married, years and years later. Do we still fight with each other, you say? Yes, very much.
He's scared of it.
Sometimes I'm afraid we can't stop fighting. But it's harmless. There's love after the fight. Over 60 years you begin to remove the minus parts of your thing and only concentrate on the positive side of things. I can't put a finger on any particular thing but I still think that we have not grown out from the day we were married till today, which is a very, very long time.
Well, how old are you?
I told him that we are 60 years now.
60? Why am I going now? 62 old.
Maybe that's the relative. She laughs at everything, even if it's not funny. Over 60 years you've been into life and it's like so many things. But you grow into them, and you just shed the things you don't like. Otherwise your married life would not exist into the things that it is now is. I think between a husband and wife, it's the husband is always letting go. And the expression is that I'm always expecting the unexpected. Tell them one of your favorite songs. Like a lonely little robin in a tree by my door,
And
that
he
waits for its mate to return evermore. So remember, please remember, that I'm lonely too. Like a lonely little robin, I'm waiting for you. If you ask me truthfully, I wouldn't change anything.
Propose it? No, I can't. Here you are calling me one nice fellow.
He came to the club. He came to
Okay,
support his son.
this is the next one coming up. So here 60 years married. I know them, they were my neighbors next door in Juhu. Wonderful couple. You know, they would talk like lovers right through their life. And when we were children, they would play with us. And because of them, our whole society was one society, you know. All the children playing, and they would be playing, whether it was 7 times, whether it was volleyball. And every evening, and I'm not fooling you, every evening they would take all of us children, the beach was in front of my house, for a walk. And husband and wife would be holding hands and walking down. And when we reached the end of the beach where the stalls are, they would be sitting down with chat about a day. We would be playing. And coming back, this man, Mr. Stanley, would tell us stories. You know, he worked for the British Council. So lovely stories. But what a wonderful couple. Now, what you see here is exactly what they were all their life. Happiness, fighting, yes, in front of us also. Next moment, nothing. That is marriage. But the love that they had, they have 4 children, 3 children, beautiful. Okay? I just gave you this as an example. So a few points now. I said first, J is Jesus. You have to have Jesus in the center and desire Jesus for you. And remember, the only one thing you can take to heaven. What can you take to heaven? Your children. The only thing you can take to heaven is your children. If you are not working to take your children to heaven, my God. Okay. So J is Jesus. O is make your life an act of love. Your family life as a couple. As I showed you the waters from Galilee, don't be like the sea of the Dead Sea. Be like Galilee, giving life. You can't have a couple that's only centered among themselves. And third, most important, you are your priority. Make a gift of yourself to each other. Now, how do we do this? I'm going to mention a few little things in nearly time up 2 or 3 minutes. First of all, it's the small things that matter. It's not the big things. When someone is sick, someone this and that, automatically take care of. But small little things. How often, when you're at workplace, do you call each other? Important. How often do you send a WhatsApp message to each other? Okay? Who does have you all decided who does what in the house? Is there a shared load? Who does what? Everybody knows this is what you do, this is what you're ready to share the workload in the family, not leaving it only to one person. One key thing, and then I'll give this key thing at the end. How many times have you renewed your marriage vows? How many times have you renewed your marriage vows? Do you have to wait for your silver jubilee? I suggest, as my mom and dad do, every anniversary, renew your marriage vows. You don't have to be in church, in your home. Say the prayer for your marriage. Every marriage anniversary, renew your marriage vows. You won't believe the power in your marriage vows. How many of you go dating? Before marriage, you used to go dating. What happens after marriage? How many of you still go dating? Put your hands up. Wow, get them a clap. Excellent. Why have we stopped dating? Remember, just because children have come, that doesn't mean you stop dating. I have a couple in my parish, 35 years. Every Friday they go on a date. And sometimes the children say when they are fighting too much, I think it's time for you to go for your date. Okay? Make time to date. Believe me, if you don't have time, forget the children. Why are mother-in-laws and mother-in-laws and father-in-laws there? Send them over. But find time. And when I'm saying dating, you don't have to go to Taj Mahal. Go to the Udupi restaurant for masala dosa. But go. Believe me, you need time to date. See what will happen to your marriage if you have your dating. And the last thing I'm telling you, with this I'll end. A man went for a management program. He was a top in his office. And he went for his management program. And at the end of the management program, one thing this person said, the chief speaker, he said, how many times have you told your husband and wife that you love them? How many times? And everybody looked. So before marriage, yeah. And he said, go home and tell your husband and wife that you love them. Now this man was married many years. He had told his wife before marriage often, earlier years, yes. He said, now how can I go and tell her? Will it make a difference? She knows I love. But this man said, even if they know and you're showing your love in different ways, say it. So he goes home. He had to fly back to his place in that, and it's in the States. And I tell my wife, But finally he went to his wife and said, darling, I want to tell you something. And said, how is she going to react? Expected he was stupid fellow. What a rubbish you're talking. And he said, darling, I want to tell you, I love you. They were married for more than 20 years. And he's saying, the wife started crying. He started crying. Now he was a management doing very well in his firm. Tears and tears, and they sat down and started speaking things that they had not spoken of before. And he's saying, just by saying, I love you, took our marriage to another level. And so I end on this note. Simple words, 3 words. I love you. Go home today. I'm not going to tell you to say it over here. No. You might say it to someone else. Go home today and say I love you. This is what I learned from my own mom and dad. Every night, they were married 56 years. Every night they were going to sleep, they would say I love you. My mom's name was Rose, my dad's name was Joe. My mom would say, I love you, Joe, and my dad would reply, I love you more. Okay? I love you, Joe, I love you more, and kiss each other and go to sleep. Believe me, such a simple thing. I end on this because this is the key. This is, you will see, it will bring a spark to your married life. It will bring joy and it will set your marriage on fire. Tonight when you go home or whenever you go home, say, I love you. God bless you.